All right, what's up, guys? Like, you guys have made it to the 50th episode. This is a special one because you know what? Not only am I gonna talk about how I got into trucking, but we are at Oktoberfest here in Las Vegas, and it's just a riot. There's so many cool vehicles here, and you guys will see that later in the clips. But honestly, on this episode, I'm just strictly talking on how I got into trucking. I'll tell a little bit about my background. I came from a family of 7. Grew up in the middle of nowhere, out in the country, just about, 15 miles north of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I have a younger sister, I got a younger brother, and then I got an older brother, and then I got an older sister. So I'm the middle child, problem child, but Anyways, my parents, my dad's been in the military his whole life. My whole family is pretty much in the military besides like 2 of us, and I never got in the military, but I got out of high school and I went to Powerline school, and to get into Powerline school, you have to have your CDL. So I got my CDL before I even went to the tech school, which was good. So like at the age of 18 I had my CDL, but I never used it because I went to Powerline school. I thought I was going to work on power lines. But anyways, Powerline school, went for a semester. It really wasn't my thing, didn't really care for it, so ended up dropping out after the semester, and then I went and moved to Deadwood, South Dakota, which is like just kind of the west side of South Dakota, and I serviced some hot tubs, worked at a resort, and I just wasn't really happy with myself. So then I ended up moving back home and got a job working on wind turbines, and I ended up really liking that. And so I did that for about 3-4 years, to where it was just constant travel, got to see so many states. It was beautiful. The winter times are kind of slow on the wind turbine work, so we always had the winter times off. So my good buddy Ridge Grimius and their whole family got me into trucking. I had no interest at all, really. I thought trucks were cool and all, but I just never thought in a million years that I would be a trucker and actually enjoy doing it. But the thing is he got me into it because he's like, hey, you got your CDL, like, why not use it? And so I gave it a try, and I ended up loving it. Yeah, the first couple of weeks I really did not, I didn't know how to shift or anything like that, and I was ready to give up. I was like, no way I could do this, Rich. But he made me. He's like, no, you're getting this. So I stuck through, and once I actually got comfortable with it, then the farmer that Rich was working for, he ended up throwing me in a truck, and I ended up running a tanker for the first few months for this farmer. So anyways, I drove for the farmer for about 3 months, and then so the guy that owns the tanker business and does all the all the connections, loads, dispatch, you name it, he ended up calling me and was like, hey, you ever get your own truck? I got a trailer waiting for you. So that same week I went and bought my first semi, and honestly I should have listened to some people, and this is a mistake that I made, and I've made plenty, but this is something you guys can learn from. And it's just, don't go out and buy whatever looks cool. I was just too hyped up, and it was a big mistake. I mean, it wasn't, yes and no, it was but at the same time I put a lot of money into that truck, and it did not look anything like how this truck looks. So my first semi that I ever bought was a 92 W900. So it was a lot like this truck, but it was not customized like this or done as well. It was like a cow hauler, but it looked cool. It was blue, navy blue with like some silver stripings. I'll have Brad hopefully pop up a picture. I bought the rig for $49,000 actually, so out the door. And I had money saved up from the wind turbines, and I did take out a loan, so I still had some money sitting in the bank, but paid $49,000 on the spot. And then I bought it in the dark, guys, too. So don't do that. Don't buy your first semi in the dark. But I was just so hyped. I never thought I would have my own trucking business in a million years. So I just got too hyped up, and yes, I had my dad, I had a lot of my good friends, Ridge and all them, telling me hey, you need to settle down, wait, make sure that this is a truck that you actually want. But I didn't listen to him. I was young, gung-ho, I just wanted to, get going. So anyways, bought the truck. It worked great for a little while, but there was a lot of things that needed to be done to the truck, and you know, I paid for it, that's for sure. And there was a lot of times where I got stuck to where I shouldn't, you know, I've even attempted to go down these roads. Like for instance, I've gotten stuck on a gravel road that cost me $8 grand just because I blew out both of my rear ends. So yeah, I mean, I love that truck to death just because, you know, it was my first semi ever, but I definitely had a lot of problems with it. But that's just, you know, the learning curve. Especially, I never had any family members that got into trucking or had a trucking business, so it was just the Grimmiuses, and they kind of took me under their wing and, you know, got me into trucking. And so I ended up selling her for only $38,000, which was a bummer, but you know, it happens. And the market wasn't the greatest. I owned it for 2 years, made money with it, so I can't complain. And then I switched to the dark side and I ended up getting a Peterbilt, my first Peterbilt ever. And it was a 98 Peterbilt 379, nothing special, had a PTO on it. I actually bought it from one of my good childhood buddies, and his name's Joe Wolves. I mean, he's doing great, love him to death. I'll haul some panels for him here and there, but so he ended up having that truck, and I ended up buying it off of him. He sold that one to me for like $48,000 with a brand new Herd bumper on it on the front. And it was a clean truck, you know, needed a couple things done to it, but got that truck, and it was probably my third trip with it, to where I was taking a trip out to Salt Lake City, my first West Side load, and I was super hyped up, but I get about halfway, I get to like Rawlings or Casper or something like that, and I'm off this exit and I'm pulling in, and anyways, this guy was just going straight in the turning lane, and it was a freak accident, and ended up ripping my hood off, everything, like the Herd, and yeah, there was a lot of damage, but luckily the insurance company didn't total it out, so it was about $25,000 worth of damage. But anyways, insurance covered it, and I was out for a little bit. After we got it all fixed up, you know, back to trucking. And you know, that truck was actually pretty good besides the head. I went through a lot of top ends, and luckily it was on warranty still, but at the same time, I probably had like 4 months of downtime in that time frame from just the motor like not running right, and it really sucked. But at the same time, it happens. It's part of the trucking. You're always going to have stuff that's going to break down, whether you like it or not, so it's part of the game. So after that, I ran it for a little bit longer, and then the market got really high. Remember guys, I paid no more than 50 grand for this truck, and then I posted online just because people were posting like a stupid, ridiculous amount for the prices of trucks. So I posted mine for 20 grand more than what I paid for it. So I was like, yeah, no one's gonna buy it, you know, that's fine, whatever. But I ended up getting like over 100 messages, and I was just like, okay. It was a clean truck, but like it's still like, you know, it wasn't perfect. But anyway, so I had a guy from New Jersey fly down, and he ended up buying the rig for 70K. So I made 20K profit just like that. And I was just like, wow, like this is cool. And I didn't have a truck, you know, I didn't have a backup, or I don't have a second truck. I only have the one truck. I was just like, kind of like, all right, well, I'm just gonna kind of kick it for a little bit and see what's out there. And then after that, I see this truck. You know, the Butte, the 84 W900. Huge shout out to Adam Johnson and his team. They do a killer job on building trucks, and like obviously I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So how I ended up getting this truck will come into the next episode, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Ooh, I gotta go. I've been working, told them please don't hit my phone. I'm in my zone, bruh, just leave me alone. Was on the road, but I swear I'm coming home. Now the drinks on me, I think we need a toast. See, I did it for me. Now my old friends calling, told them nothing's for